Happy Friday! Let's go back in time. Hello, welcome back to Drinking by My Shelf. My name is Emma, and if you think I look horrific today, you are right. I also feel horrific. I'm on bed rest today. I had to have a procedure done yesterday, and like an elective thing. I am all good, but it has just left me feeling very, very frail. So I'm on bed rest today, and this is the first time. It is now about 4:15. The first time today I ventured out of bed to the sofa. I even took off my pyjamas and put on other pyjama-like things. That's progress. You may not see it, but that's progress. And I made myself a cup of hot Ribena. I have bags under my eyes, and I'm just generally in quite a lot of pain today. So, take it easy on me if I'm not my usual bubbliest self. I'm still here, aren't I? I made it to the sofa just for you. So today I'm going to do a video that I have had on my list to do for a while now. So I keep like a Trello board where I keep track of all of the random ideas I've had, all of the tags people have told me to do, anything like that. And a video that's been on there for maybe 2 years now is the Choose a Year book tag, which was created by Mel from Mel's Booklet Adventures, and I'm pretty certain she tagged me in it. And I just never got around to doing it, and I really liked the idea and have had it on my list for ages, but I couldn't decide which year to do. So the basic premise of the tag is that you pick a year and then talk about books that were published in that year. And the obvious one for me to do would be 1991 because that was the year that I was born. But I have already done a while ago a vlog that was reading books that were bestsellers on the day that I was born, and I thought there would just be too much overlap. So I kind of had it on the back burner. Today, however, seemed like a good day to finally get up and film it. And I thought it'd be fun to go back to a year before I was even born, because I might find the most books there that I haven't already talked about. And so, I'm going to pick the year 1973. 1973. And I was thinking about which years to do, and I typed 1973 into Goodreads, and the most popular books came up from that year, and number one, top of the list, was The Princess Bride by William Goldman, which is one of my favourite books of all time, so that seemed like a really good sign. So let's have a look at the actual questions. The first question is to choose a year and say why. I already did that. Number 2, which books published in that year have you read or heard of? So, I'm going to go back to that Goodreads list to start with. Most popular books published in 1973. Right at the top, The Princess Bride. So I read this book for the first time probably 7-ish years ago, 8 years ago. I grew up on the movie and I absolutely loved the movie. And I always had it in my head that the book was going to be like my favourite book ever, even though I hadn't read it, and I was kind of nervous to read it in case it couldn't live up to it. And then I got it, and I opened it. Is it within arm's reach for me? Because I'm not standing up if it's not. It is! I can just get it. This is The Princess Bride, and the very first line of this book is, "This is my favourite book in all the world, though I have never read it." And the second I read that line, I was like, hello, this is for me. And it was. It's fantastic. I think the movie is so, so brilliant. And also, now having read this, the movie's such a good adaptation of this book. So this book overlaps a lot, like all of your favourite scenes you'll find in here, but the framing device is very different. It's a bit more complicated, and I really enjoy it. It's basically saying that The Princess Bride is a real book. It kind of suggests that it's this real book that exists and that this is the abridged version of it with all the boring bits cut out. And it really did make me search to see if there was an original The Princess Bride, but no, there isn't. This is all made up in William Goldman's head. It's just fantastic. I laughed so much. I missed several tube stops while reading this book. So that was a good one to start with, but I haven't made it down the rest of this list yet. Number 2 is Breakfast of Champions, which I have heard of but I've never read. Then we're getting a bunch of books that I've never heard of. Gravity's Rainbow, heard of, never read. Sula by Toni Morrison, heard of, never read. That is wild how many of these I have not even heard of, considering these are the ones that have been shelved on Goodreads by the most people, so the most popular. Ruby Fruit Jungle, heard of, never read. I'm kind of shocked that I haven't read it. It's a famous lesbian book. We have another one, Deanie by Judy Blume. That's one where she has scoliosis, I think. I read a lot of Judy Blume books when I was growing up. Okay, that's it. Of the top 45 books it has now shown me that were published in 1973, of the 45 most popular books, I have only read 2 of them, and really only heard of a handful of them. I'm going to try a different list before I give up on this. I'm going to go to the Wikipedia page, 1973 in literature. Okay, we got another one. In children's books, Carrie's War. I definitely read that. It was about 2 evacuees, 2 children, Carrie and her brother. Oh yeah, and they stay at a house called Druid's Bottom. I remember thinking that was very funny. Just reading the plot synopsis on Wikipedia now, I so remember this. It got kind of magical, kind of like spooky. There was a skull in it. Yeah, I really remember that book. Okay, continuing. There's a book that was published in 1973 called The Giant Devil Dingo. Never heard of that, but that's fantastic that it exists. Huh, would you look at that? Stephanie Meyer, author of the Twilight series, was born in 1973, as was Frances Harding. The lighting has suddenly gone very pink in here while I've been scrolling. I can't even bother to deal with that. This was also the year that J.R.R. Tolkien died. Nancy Mitford died. Noel Coward died. What a time to be alive. Or rather, not to be alive, in their case. So the conclusion to that question is that I have not read very many books published in 1973, which I guess makes sense, because I wasn't there. The next question is to look at books published in that year and decide, are there any of them that sound interesting and you would read them now? Which list should I go back to? I mean, what was the one I just found? The Giant Devil Dingo? I don't know what that's about, but I'd read that one. I mean, Ruby Fruit Jungle. Let's go back to Ruby Fruit Jungle. That's definitely been on my list for a while. It's about growing up a lesbian in America and living happily ever after. I want to read that. Then Mel asks about the most obscure sounding book. There was someone here that I was surprised was so high up the list, because to me they sounded quite obscure. Like, for example, some non-fiction. There's a book called Knowing God by J.I. Packer. An important tool to help Christians around the world discover the wonder, the glory, and the joy of knowing God. Great, but why is that the 9th most popular book from that year? That's strange to me. There's also a book called How to Eat Fried Worms, pretty high up on the list. Another one that I've definitely never heard of. But I don't think it's obscure, it's got loads of ratings. The final question from Mel is to find the strangest book cover. And honestly, from that whole search, I can tell you that there were a ton of strange book covers in 1973. Book cover trends have changed a lot. These all look god-awful. I think the gist here is that I would not want to get transported in time back to 1973 to a bookshop there, because I wouldn't really know what to read. But just for curiosity's sake, I'm going to look at the exact equivalent list on Goodreads for 1991 and see if it's any better. The first one is Outlander. I always forget how old that is. Haven't read it though. Oh, American Psycho. Hate that book. Sophie's World. That's that philosophy book. I did used to like that when I was younger. Then another whole lot of shit that I've never heard of and would never read. Did books get better in the last 30 years, or is this list just terribly compiled? Wow, scroll down to about number 60 on that list and there is really nothing for me in there either. So in the battle of 1973 versus 1991, I really can't say who came out on top. Probably 1973, because that gave us The Princess Bride. What the fuck did 1991 give us? American Bloody Psycho. American Psycho is a very beloved and popular book. I'm sure it's very good, but it's also very gory and not for me. I think I've had quite enough of sitting upright, so I'm going to go back to my horizontal lounging position for the rest of the day and hope that I feel better tomorrow, because I'm supposed to be going back to work tomorrow, and currently that's not going to happen. I will link to Mel's original video below so you can go have a look at which year she picked. And give this a go yourself. It's pretty fun to look through those top lists from random years. If I got really bored this afternoon, I would look at all of my favourite books on this shelf and the years that they were born and figure out which year was the best in my reading history. But to be honest, it would probably be like 2018 or something. Most of the books I have here are not super old. I'm going to climb back into bed and read more books to talk to you about in the future, so hit that subscribe button so that you never miss a video from me, and I will see you soon.
My old lovers fall into my covers, where they sink one by one. Yeah, I watch them disappear to nothing, disposable as chewing gum.